The smell of industrial pine cleaner never really cleans anything. It just layers itself over the truth like cheap perfume on a bad memory. Marcus Reeves pushed the heavy floor buffer in slow, tired arcs across the polished bamboo floors of Iron Crane Martial Arts, watching his own reflection ripple back at him in the wet shine. A tall, broad-shouldered black man in his early 40s, with close-cropped hair going silver at the temples and a jaw that had been broken twice and reset once. His navy blue coveralls had the Iron Crane logo stitched over the left breast pocket, right above a small embroidered patch that read facilities. His lower back throbbed with a dull, familiar ache. His left ankle, the one they'd rebuilt with 2 titanium screws at Walter Reed back in 2011, clicked softly with every other step. The buffer hummed. The overhead LEDs, bright enough to perform surgery under, buzzed a thin electric whine into the base of his skull. It was 9:17 p.m. on a Wednesday in downtown Denver. Iron Crane wasn't really a dojo. It was a boutique, a curated wellness destination for hedge fund managers and biotech executives who wanted to post pictures of themselves in crisp white G on LinkedIn. The lobby had a live orchid wall. The bathrooms had heated toilet seats. The pro shop sold hand-stitched black belts for $800 apiece, and there were always 2 or 3 hanging on the display rack, waiting for the right credit card. Marcus knew all of this because he cleaned every square inch of it 6 nights a week from 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. for $17 an hour, cash on Fridays, no benefits, no overtime, no complaints. Across the main training mat, the Volkov brothers were finishing their private session, Alexei and Anton, 34 years old. Identical twins with the sharp, aristocratic cheekbones of their Ukrainian mother and the tireless, restless ambition of their late American father. They ran a fintech firm called VolkPay that had been valued at $4.1 billion in its last funding round. Their black belts were real. Their instructor flew in from Osaka twice a month. They fought in exhibition tournaments for charity and always won trophies that they displayed in glass cases in their downtown penthouse. Tonight they were sparring shirtless under their crisp black gi jackets. Their bare chests slick with sweat, their movements sharp, snapping, textbook clean. "Your rear leg is dead again," Alexei barked, throwing a step and reverse punch that cracked against the focus mitt Anton was holding. "Because you telegraphed the shoulder," Anton fired back. "I read it before you commit." Marcus watched them without watching them. It was a skill he'd learned in a village outside Kandahar, watching men move down a dirt road while you pretended to fix a truck. You saw everything without ever appearing to look at anything. The twins had speed. They had form. They had zero idea what it felt like to fight someone who genuinely wanted them dead. His phone buzzed in the hip pocket of his coveralls. Marcus killed the buffer with a flick of his thumb. The sudden silence made the fluorescent hum louder, more insistent, like a mosquito trapped inside his ear canal. He pulled the phone out with 2 fingers, careful not to smudge the cracked screen with the disinfectant on his gloves. It was a text from his sister Denise. "She's asking for you again. Fever spiked to 102.4 around 8. Tylenol brought it down, but she won't eat. I told her daddy's working, baby. I told her daddy's coming home soon." Marcus closed his eyes for a 3 count. Behind his eyelids, he could see her. Amara, 9 years old. Sickle cell disease. Big brown eyes that had seen more hospital ceilings than a child should ever see. The bills from last winter's hospitalization had stacked up like bricks in a wall he couldn't climb over. $22,000. And that was after the insurance from his day job at the loading dock had done its half-hearted work. He typed back with 1 thumb, slowly. "On my way soon. Tell her daddy's bringing the little strawberry milk she likes. Love you, Neezy." He slid the phone back into his pocket. His hand was shaking a little. He flexed his fingers and made it stop. "Hey! Hey, big man!" Marcus lifted his head. Alexei Volkov was walking toward him across the mat, still barefoot, still shirtless under his loose gi jacket, a white towel draped around the back of his neck. Up close, Marcus could smell the man's cologne, something French and citrus and expensive, cutting through the pine cleaner like a knife through soft cheese. Anton followed a half step behind, spinning a black belt around his knuckles in slow, thoughtful loops. "Yes, sir," Marcus said. His voice was low, flat, deliberately unremarkable. 20 years of being a black man in white spaces had taught him the exact vocal register that made rich people feel comfortable without feeling like they'd condescended to you. It was a costume he could put on and take off like a jacket. "You mind giving us a hand for like 15 minutes? Alexei asked, flashing a smile that had probably cost his parents $40,000 in orthodontia. "Our sparring partner canceled. Stomach bug. And we're prepping for the Rocky Mountain Invitational this Saturday. We just need a body. Someone to move around, hold a stance, let us practice angle changes on a live human instead of a bag." Marcus glanced at the wall clock. He still had the men's locker room to disinfect, the mirrors to wipe down, and the sauna to drain and scrub. If he stopped now, he'd be there past midnight. "I've got a lot of floor left, sir," he said quietly. "Manager said everything needs to be dry and sanitized before I clock out." Anton stepped up beside his brother. He had a slightly harder edge, a stillness that Alexei lacked. He tilted his head, studying Marcus with the appraising look a man gives a used car he's considering. "We'll make it worth your time," Anton said. Anton reached into the inner fold of his gi jacket and pulled out a slim black leather billfold. Not a wallet, a billfold. The kind rich men carry when they want you to know they don't need pockets full of receipts. He opened it with a practiced flick of his thumb and peeled back a stack of crisp $100 bills, each one so new they still had the faint plastic sheen of the bank strap. 400, Anton said, holding the bills at chest level. "For 15 minutes. You put on some pads, you hold your ground, we work our footwork on you. Light contact only. You won't even bruise." Marcus looked at the money. He didn't reach for it. He didn't look away either. Somewhere deep in his chest, a slow, cold arithmetic was already running. $400 was Amara's strawberry milk. It was the copay on the pediatric hematologist next Tuesday. It was 1/3 of the electric bill Denise had covered for him last month that he'd promised, on his mother's grave, to pay her back for. But $400 was also the price of his dignity, laid out on the mat like a used towel for two men in $800 belts to wipe their feet on. Alexei must have read something in his silence, because he smiled wider and added, "Come on, brother. You look like you can handle yourself. Ex-football? Bouncer, maybe? We're not going to actually hit you. It's just drills." "Brother," the word landed in Marcus's ear the way a small stone lands in a still pond. He didn't flinch. He didn't blink. His face remained the same warm, tired, deferential mask it had been for the last 4 hours. But something inside him, something old and armored and very, very patient, took a single quiet step forward from where it had been sleeping in the back of his skull. 500, Marcus heard himself say. Anton laughed. A short, surprised bark. He glanced at his brother. Alexei shrugged as if to say, "Why not?" And Anton peeled off one more crisp bill and held all 5 out between 2 fingers. "Deal. Grab something from the loaner rack. You're what? A size XL top? There should be one that fits." Marcus took the money. The paper felt cold. He folded the bills once, twice, and slid them deep into the front pocket of his coveralls. Next to his house key and a small laminated photograph of Amara on her 5th birthday that he had carried through 3 deployments and 1 divorce. "Yes, sir," he said. He walked toward the men's locker room, his gait deliberately loose, his shoulders deliberately soft. The click in his left ankle had never sounded louder to him than it did on that walk across those polished bamboo floors. Behind him, he could hear the twins murmuring to each other in a low, amused Russian he'd learned enough of in Georgia in 2013 to understand 2 words. Bolshoi Cherny. Big black one. The old thing inside him took another step forward. The men's locker room at Iron Crane smelled like cedar planks and cucumber mint body wash. Marcus had scrubbed those cedar planks himself, on his hands and knees, with a soft bristled brush the manager had specifically ordered from a distributor in Kyoto. He knew every knot in the wood the way a farmer knows his fields. He walked past the row of teak lockers, past the eucalyptus steam shower, past the mirror wall where he sometimes caught himself and didn't recognize the tired man staring back. The loaner rack was at the far end, tucked next to the towel warmer. He pulled a size XL gi jacket off the wooden hanger. The canvas was thick, coarse, freshly laundered. The pants were folded neatly beneath. Marcus set the uniform down on the polished cedar bench and began, slowly, to unbutton his coveralls. He stripped down to his undershirt and boxer briefs. In the mirror across from the bench, his body told a story he rarely let anyone read. A long, pale keloid ran diagonally from his right collarbone down across his sternum, the souvenir of a piece of RPG fragment that had entered him sideways in the Corango Valley in 2009 and been extracted, along with 2 inches of his 4th rib, in a field hospital tent that smelled of iodine and burned coffee. His left shoulder carried a smaller, rounder scar, a puckered dime of tissue from a 7.62 round that had gone clean through the meat without hitting bone. His forearms were laced with the thin white ghost lines of shrapnel too small to bother removing. On his right pectoral, faded now to a soft blue-black, was a simple tattoo. A skull inside a laurel wreath. The insignia of the 75th Ranger Regiment, 2nd Battalion. Beneath it, in small block letters, 3 names. Ortiz, Whelan, Boone. He pulled the gi jacket on over his undershirt. The canvas settled heavy across his shoulders. He wrapped a plain white belt around his waist and tied it in the simplest knot he knew, the one his grandfather had taught him in a garage in East St. Louis when he was 6 years old, before either of them knew what a dojo even was. He did not wrap his hands. He did not stretch. He did not warm up. He looked at himself one more time in the mirror. A middle-aged black man in a white belt and an ill-fitting borrowed uniform, with hospital bills stacked on his kitchen counter and a feverish child waiting for a bottle of strawberry milk. That was who was walking back onto that mat. Not a ranger, not a veteran, not a man with 3 names inked over his heart, just a father, running the cold arithmetic one more time. 15 minutes. Keep your hands up, take the taps, take the money, get home to Amara. He said it to himself twice, like a prayer. Then he opened the locker room door and walked back out into the buzzing white light of the main training floor, where the Volkov twins were waiting. The tatami was cool under Marcus's bare feet, not the cheap foam puzzle tiles you found in strip mall dojos. Real Japanese tatami, tightly woven rice straw with a canvas edge border, imported at $400 a square meter. He could feel the individual weave against the calluses of his soles. Alexei tossed a set of blue foam headgear and a pair of dip foam sparring gloves onto the mat between them. Standard rules, Alexei said, rolling his neck until it popped. Point sparring, continuous. We call out our strikes as we throw. You just react. Hands up, chin down, don't lock your knees. If something lands harder than we meant, we stop, we reset. Sound good? Sound good, Marcus said. He picked up the headgear. The foam smelled faintly of another man's sweat, sour and stale under the surface veneer of disinfectant spray. He strapped it under his chin. He slid on the gloves. His hands, thick and heavy-knuckled, felt smothered in the padding. Anton stepped to the far edge of the mat and dropped into a wide textbook front stance. Left foot forward, right foot back, hips squared, both hands raised in the classic karate guard. His breath came sharp through his nose. He looked, Marcus had to admit, beautiful. Every angle was correct. Every line was clean. It was the physical form of a man who had been paid, since the age of 8, to be beautiful at exactly this. I'll go first, Anton said to his brother. 3 minutes on the clock. Alexei tapped the wall-mounted timer. A soft electronic beep filled the gym. Anton exploded off his back leg. He closed the distance in 2 lightning steps and fired a stepping side kick, chambering his knee high, driving the blade of his foot straight into Marcus's ribs. Marcus saw it coming from the moment Anton's hip cocked. He saw it, and he did not move. The kick landed against his left flank with a solid snapping thwack. Marcus grunted. He let the impact rock him back half a step. He let his shoulders sag. He raised his gloves and shuffled his feet in a poor imitation of a boxer's guard. Anton was already reloading. He skipped forward and threw a fast, whipping back fist. Marcus lifted his left glove and caught it on the side of his headgear. Tap, the foam padding absorbed most of it. Anton followed with a reverse punch to the sternum, a controlled, pulled shot that pushed Marcus back another step. "Move your feet, big man," Anton called out, bouncing back to range. "You're standing there like a mailbox." Marcus nodded, breathing through his mouth in exaggerated wheezes. He shuffled a slow circle to his right. He let his guard drift low. He let his eyes go glassy and tired. 15 minutes, he thought. Take the taps, take the money. But the old thing in the back of his skull was awake now. It was watching, and it was counting. Anton came in again. This time, he threw a combination Marcus recognized from 100 YouTube tournament highlights. Fake jab, drop the level, roundhouse kick to the outside of the lead thigh. It was a clean, competition-legal sequence designed to score 2 points and reset. The kick landed on Marcus's left quadriceps with a wet slap. The muscle jumped. A dull, ringing ache spread down toward his knee. "Point," Anton called cheerfully, skipping back. Alexei laughed from the sideline. "Anton, don't kill the man. He's got to walk home. He's got to walk home." Marcus's jaw tightened once, briefly behind the headgear. Then relaxed. Anton reset in his stance. He came forward with a different rhythm this time. He was gaining confidence. He was starting to enjoy it. Marcus could see it in the tiny lift at the corners of the man's mouth, in the slightly wider bounce of his lead foot, in the way his hands were dropping a full inch lower than they had been 60 seconds ago. The next kick was a spinning back kick. It was showy. It was tournament candy. It was exactly the kind of technique that scored points in front of judges and got you killed in an alley behind a bar in Mosul. Anton pivoted on his lead foot, whipped his head around, and drove his heel toward Marcus's stomach. Marcus stepped inside it. He did not think about the movement. His body did the thinking for him. The same way it had done the thinking for him on a rooftop outside Marja when a man had come around a corner with an AK and Marcus had put 2 rounds through his chest before his conscious mind had even registered the threat. His left foot glided 6 inches to the outside of Anton's spinning body. His right hand, still gloved, still soft, came up and rested, gently, almost tenderly, against the back of Anton's neck. Anton's kick sailed through empty air. His momentum carried him forward. Marcus rode the momentum, pressing his palm down against Anton's neck as the man passed, and Anton stumbled 2 ugly, off-balance steps before catching himself against the mirrored wall. There was a moment of silence. Alexei stopped smiling. Anton turned around slowly. His face had gone a little pink under the headgear. He was breathing harder than he wanted to be. "Lucky," he said. "Yes, sir," Marcus said quietly. He raised his hands again. He shuffled his feet again. His face was still tired, still deferential, still nothing. Anton came forward faster. The tempo had changed. The playful edge was gone. He fired a jab-cross-hook combination, tight and mean, and the last hook landed against Marcus's headgear with a crack that snapped Marcus's head sideways. Marcus tasted copper. He'd bitten the inside of his cheek. He nodded. He raised his gloves. He kept his eyes down. The old thing in the back of his skull leaned forward on its elbows, interested now. 60 seconds left on the round. Anton came in with a front kick this time, and Marcus finally understood what the man was doing. He was not drilling. He was hunting. Every technique the twin had thrown in the last minute had drifted, degree by degree, away from the pulled. Tournament sanitized shots he had promised. The side kick had bruised. The roundhouse had wrung the muscle. The hook had rocked Marcus's head hard enough that his ears were still whining. And now this front kick came in without a called-out warning, aimed at Marcus's solar plexus, thrown with the full weight of Anton's hips. He wants to make it look good in front of his brother, Marcus thought calmly. He wants a story to tell on Saturday. He wants to be the man who dropped the janitor. Marcus caught the kick. Not the way a competition fighter catches a kick, with a soft hand and a scoring nod. He caught it the way a rifleman catches a bayonet. His left hand closed around Anton's ankle. His right hand came underneath the calf. And he simply, without ceremony, kept walking forward. Anton had one leg in the air, one leg on the ground, and no way to keep his balance against 230 pounds of Ranger walking him backward across the mat. His planted foot skidded, his arms windmilled, his eyes went wide. Marcus drove him 3 steps, 4, 5, and then, at the exact moment Anton's back reached the padded wall, Marcus lowered his stance 6 inches and cut Anton's supporting knee out from under him with the outside blade of his own bare foot. Anton went down. Not the way a fighter goes down in a movie, in a slow spiral of controlled cinema. He went down the way a man goes down when the ground is pulled out from under him. His hip hit the tatami first, his shoulder hit second, his head, mercifully padded, hit third with a soft thump. Marcus was already on top of him. He was not straddling, he was not mounted. He was kneeling, one knee planted in the meat of Anton's chest, the other foot posted wide for base. His right hand, still gloved in soft blue foam, was cocked back beside his ear. His left forearm was pinned across Anton's throat, not crushing, just resting there, the weight of it doing all the talking. The dojo went absolutely, perfectly quiet. The overhead LEDs hummed. The timer on the wall kept counting down. Alexei's mouth was open. Marcus leaned down. Anton's face was inches from his own. He could smell the citrus cologne. He could smell the sudden, sharp animal note of fear sweat cutting through it. Marcus's voice, when it came, was low and level and entirely without heat. "That was going to be your neck," he said. "In a real place, on a real day, with real intent, that was going to be your neck, sir. You understand me?" Anton's eyes flickered. He tried to speak. Nothing came out. Marcus waited. Alexei moved. Marcus heard the shift of a bare foot on tatami behind him, the sharp inhalation of a man committing to a strike. And he understood with the same wordless clarity he had understood the front kick that Alexei was coming, and that Alexei was not coming to help his brother up. Marcus rolled. He did not stand and turn. Standing and turning was for men who had 2 good knees in time. He rolled off Anton's chest to his left, dragging his shoulder across the mat, and Alexei's descending hammer fist, which had been aimed at the crown of Marcus's skull, whistled past his ear and slammed into the tatami where his head had been a half-second before. The impact of Alexei's own strike on the unyielding mat jolted up through the man's wrist. He grunted. He was already off balance from the miss. Marcus came up onto one knee, then to his feet, in a single unfolding motion that his hips protested but his instincts overruled. He was inside Alexei's reach before Alexei had finished recovering from the failed hammer. Marcus's right hand shot out, palm open, and clamped onto the back of Alexei's neck. His left hand caught Alexei's right wrist, the one still trembling from the impact. He did not throw a punch, he did not throw a kick, he simply pulled. Alexei's face came forward and down, driven by the leverage of his own arm being levered across his own chest. And Marcus turned his hips a quarter of an inch, and Alexei went past him, past him, past him, and into the same mirrored wall Anton had bounced off of 30 seconds earlier. The impact was not gentle. The mirror did not break, but it flexed in its frame with a low musical shudder, and Alexei slid down it in a boneless heap. Marcus took 2 steps back. He raised his empty gloved hands. Palms out. Fingers spread. "I'm done," he said. His voice was steady. It was not loud. "Sirs, I am done. Fight's over. Nobody else has to touch the floor." Anton was sitting up now, one hand at his throat, the other braced on the mat behind him. His face was a strange mottled color, half red from exertion, half white from something else. He was staring at Marcus the way a child stares at a dog that has just, for the first time in the child's life, growled, Alexei was slower to rise. He pushed himself up against the mirrored wall with both hands, breathing hard through his open mouth. When he finally turned his face toward Marcus, there was no aristocratic sharpness left in it. There was just a 34-year-old man who had, perhaps for the first time in his life, understood that money did not always finish the sentence violence started. The wall timer beeped. 3 minutes was up. The gym was so quiet Marcus could hear his own heartbeat in his ears. Then, from the double doors at the front of the lobby, someone began, slowly, to clap. The man in the doorway was in his late 60s. Silver hair cropped close to a dark scalp. A charcoal wool overcoat, damp at the shoulders from the Denver drizzle outside. Under the coat, a plain black gi. Around his waist, a black belt so old and so worn that the silk wrapping had frayed down to the cotton core in 3 places, and the embroidered kanji on one tail had bleached to a ghost. Marcus knew him. Everyone at Iron Crane knew him. His photograph hung in the lobby, in a black lacquer frame, beside a small brass plate that read Sensei Robert Hayashi Coleman. Founder, he was also, Marcus had learned in his first week on the job, the man who had personally signed off on hiring the janitorial subcontractor. Which was to say, the man who had, in a manner of speaking, hired Marcus. Sensei Coleman walked slowly across the polished bamboo, his hands folded behind his back, his eyes on the 2 Volkov brothers. He stopped at the edge of the tatami and looked, for a long moment, at Alexei against the mirror. Then at Anton on the mat. Then at Marcus, standing with his gloved hands still raised in a gesture of surrender. "Mr. Reeves," Sensei Coleman said quietly, "take the gear off, please. You are done working tonight." Marcus's stomach dropped. He nodded. He began to fumble at the chin strap of the headgear. "Anton, Alexei." The sensei's voice did not rise, but something in it made both twins straighten as if pulled by strings. "Get up. Bow to the mat. Bow to Mr. Reeves. Get your things. You are, effective tonight, no longer members of this school. Your annual dues will be refunded to the cards on file. Do not come back." Anton's mouth opened. "Sensei, that's not, we were just..." He agreed to. "You paid a working man to be a target so you could feel dangerous." Sensei Coleman's voice was still soft. "You escalated a paid drill into a fight. Your brother threw an unannounced hammer fist at the back of a man's skull on my tatami. And you did all of this in a uniform that carries my name on the breast." He paused. "Bow leave, do not make me repeat myself." They bowed. It was a stiff, humiliated bow, aimed vaguely in Marcus's direction. They gathered their gym bags. They walked out through the lobby without looking back. The glass door hissed shut behind them. Sensei Coleman turned to Marcus. "You have oil stain on your left knee, son," he said. "The buffer leaks. I've told the manager. Come sit, take those gloves off." Marcus sat down slowly on the edge of the mat. His hands, when he finally peeled the sparring gloves off, were shaking. Not from fear, from adrenaline dump and from the sudden cold understanding that he had, quite probably, just lost the $17 an hour job that kept the lights on for Amara. The sensei sat down beside him. "Second Battalion," Sensei Coleman said. It was not a question. He was looking at the edge of Marcus's tattoo, where the laurel wreath peeked out above the collar of the borrowed gi. "I was first Cav. Long time ago. Different war. Same tired knees." Marcus almost smiled. "Almost, Sensei," he said carefully. "I'm sorry about the mat. I'm sorry about your members. I needed the hours. My little girl, she, sickle cell," Sensei Coleman said. Marcus turned his head sharply. "Denise Reeves is my dental hygienist," the old man said, and there was, for the first time, a small tired smile at the corner of his mouth. "She talks about her brother. She talks about her niece. Denver is a smaller town than it pretends to be. Mr. Reeves," he looked down at his own weathered hands, "I have watched you clean my floors for 4 months. I have watched you carry yourself like a man who is carrying something heavier than a mop bucket. Tonight I came in early because I forgot a folder. I saw the last 90 seconds of what happened on this mat. Do you know what I saw?" Marcus shook his head. I saw a man who could have broken both of my top-earning students in half, and did not. I saw a man who took hits he did not have to take, so a paycheck would clear. I saw restraint that 99% of black belts in this country could not produce on their best day. The sensei paused. I am not going to fire you, Mr. Reeves. I am going to offer you a job. Sensei, I don't. Assistant instructor. Adult self-defense program. 3 evenings a week to start. $32 an hour. Full health benefits through the school after 90 days, which will cover your daughter. You will keep the janitorial hours only as long as you want them. My guess is you will not want them long. He held up a hand before Marcus could speak. This is not charity. I have watched too many men in $800 belts forget what a belt is for. I need someone on this floor who remembers. That is a business decision. Do you understand me? Marcus stared at the tatami between his bare feet. He thought about Amara, curled under a quilt in Denise's spare room, waiting for strawberry milk. He thought about the $500 bills folded in the coveralls hanging in the locker room. He thought about the 3 names inked over his heart, and about how none of them had ever gotten to come home to a daughter. He nodded once. Yes, sir, he said. His voice cracked, just a little, on the second word. Thank you, sir. Sensei Coleman clapped him gently, once, on the shoulder. Then the old man stood with the same quiet dignity he had walked in with, and left Marcus alone on the mat under the humming white lights. Marcus sat there a long time. Then he got up, and he went to get his daughter her milk. If Marcus's story moved you, if you know what it feels like to carry something heavier than the world sees, take a moment to hit that like button, share this video with someone who needs to hear it tonight, and subscribe for more stories about the quiet strength of the people we walk past every day. Drop a comment below and tell us, what would you have done standing in Marcus's boots with $500 and a feverish child waiting at home?